Welcome to Once Upon a Curious Mind, where imagination meets gentle wonder. In tonight's story, a simple quill changes a kingdom forever. Let the magic begin. James and the Quill that brought stories to life. Once upon a kindly morning in the Kingdom of Larkspur, a young scribe named James dipped his pen and sighed. Not a sad sigh, more like the sound you make when your shoulders are tired but your heart is hopeful. James lived in a narrow room above the royal library where the windows rattled when the bells rang and the shelves leaned together like old friends whispering secrets. His job was to copy stories all day long. Legends of brave bakers, poems about gentle rain, and lists. Oh, so many lists of who borrowed which book and forgot to bring it back. "I love stories," James said aloud one afternoon, stretching his ink-stained fingers. "I just wish I could make one." From the corner, the librarian, Mistress Rowan, hummed without looking up. "Careful what you wish for," she said gently. "Stories listen." James laughed. "Do they?" That afternoon, while dusting a forgotten cabinet tucked behind the tallest shelf, James found a small velvet case. Inside lay a quill that shimmered softly, not bright like gold, but warm like lamplight. Pinned to the lining was a tiny note. "For the writer who remembers that words are alive." James felt his heart give a hopeful thump. "Well," he whispered, "that sounds promising." He hurried to his desk and wrote carefully. "Once there was a small blue bird who sang louder than the bells." The ink dried. The page fluttered. With a soft pop, like a bubble bursting, there was a small blue bird on the desk, singing happily and knocking over James's inkwell. James stared. Then he laughed so hard he had to sit down. "It works," he said breathlessly. "It really works." At first, James was careful. He wrote small, gentle things. A friendly mouse who swept crumbs from bakery floors. A teapot that told jokes while it steamed. A pair of socks that always found each other in the wash. The kingdom quietly grew brighter. Children giggled. Bakers smiled. Even Mistress Rowan paused once, watching a teapot bow politely before waddling away. But wonder, as James soon learned, can be a slippery thing. One evening, tired and excited, James thought, "What if I write something bigger?" He wrote. A magnificent parade filled the streets, complete with music and fireworks shaped like stars. The parchment shimmered. Outside, trumpets blared, confetti rained down, fireworks burst. Beautiful, yes, but loud enough to startle pigeons and tangle traffic. "Whose parade is this? Mind the apples! Where did all this come from?" James's smile slowly faded. Trying to fix things, James wrote faster. Too fast. He wrote a dragon, meaning it to be friendly, but it sneezed smoke and frightened the goats. He wrote a river of lemonade, but forgot that streets have basements. The kingdom wasn't dark. It wasn't dangerous. Just very, very messy. That evening, Mistress Rowan climbed the stairs and knocked gently. "May I come in?" James nodded. "I wanted to help," he said quietly. "I wanted to make everyone happy." She sat beside him. "Stories are powerful," she said, "and power needs care. Words don't just listen, James. They remember." That night, James didn't write right away. He thought about kindness, about patience, about what was needed, not just what was exciting. When he finally picked up the quill, he wrote slowly. A gentle rain that watered dry gardens. Lost buttons finding their coats. Patience, described as a soft bench where tired hearts could rest. Each story appeared, did its quiet work, and faded when finished. At last, James wrote one final line. A scribe who understands that stories are gifts, not toys. The page glowed softly. Nothing jumped out. Instead, something settled inside him, like finally knowing where your feet belong. From that day on, James still used the quill, but only after asking himself one question. Is this kind? Is this needed? Sometimes the answer was no, and that was okay. Years later, children would ask, "Why don't you write a castle made of cake?" James would grin, "Because cake is best when you can share it." And the stories he did write, quiet, thoughtful ones, made the Kingdom of Larkspur a warmer place to live. Not louder, not flashier, just kinder. And that, as it turns out, is a very good kind of magic. Thank you for spending this story with Once Upon a Curious Mind. If this tale brought you a little warmth, there are more stories waiting for you here. You can listen to another story on screen or subscribe to join us for new curious tales each week. Until next time, stay curious.